I don't know when the idea for this cabinet got into my head exactly, but there are at least two people I blame it on, H.O. Studley and Carlo Bugatti. Anybody who does woodworking for long enough will eventually come across this image of the Studley tool chest. He was a turn of the 20th century piano maker and Freemason. His tool chest stands as one of the most brilliant expressions of craftsmanship ever dedicated to a set of tools. In 2015, I attended Handworks, a hand tool woodworking symposium in Amana, Iowa, where the Studley tool chest was on exhibition, and I was smitten. I've ended up reading whole books about Studley and his iconic work. Carlo Bugatti is lesser known among woodworkers, but I'd like to change that. His furniture designs, while ornate by any standard, let alone today's, are some of the most unique, unapologetically bold expressions of fantasy and art for art's sake that I've ever encountered. With the work of these two inspirations swimming in my head, I knew I had to make something audacious and bold in its design. I started dreaming of building a new tool cabinet, and dreaming was pretty much the extent of it for at least a few years. In 2016, I moved into a new house and started fitting out a new and larger shop, so a lack of space was no longer an excuse. At the same time, my hand tool collection was fast outgrowing the wall-hanging tool cabinet that I had already built. In the fall of 2017, with my new shop all fitted out and increasingly overrun with hand tools, I decided to start small and build a sawtill that could stand alone until I could build the rest of the cabinet. And stand alone it did, while I attended to both commission work and speculative projects. In the fall of 2018, I built a plane till to go with the sawtill. From the start, I wanted the two of them together to take the form of a mountain. And likewise, many of the tool vignettes in the cabinet take the shape of one inspiration or another. In the winter of 2019, with a kid on the way, it was clear I should really get this project going. Knowing the cabinet, when fully loaded, would be much too large and heavy to hang on a wall, I designed and built a trestle base to support it. It's my contemporary take on a bargueño desk, a furniture form at its most popular in Renaissance Spain, and one I thought was ripe for a fresh interpretation. The only physical thing that could be called a plan for it was a crooked 2-inch tall sketch in ballpoint pen on the back of an envelope. The real plan was in my head and orbiting my subconscious while I tried to sleep at night. Later that year, it came to my attention that the nearby Kirkland Museum in Denver had in its collection a large Carlo Bugatti cabinet. In all my travels, I had mostly encountered Bugatti's work from behind distant, smudged glass walls. The Kirkland's salon-style exhibits allowed me to put my nose right up to one of his pieces, and I was enchanted. Suddenly, a great deal of kindling had been added to the fire under my behind. So I got to work, building the case, with hand-cut mitered corner dovetails all around, and started fitting it out by fixing into place the saw and plane tills I had made in the years preceding. Without a plan to follow, I made individual tool holders as the inspiration struck. I tried to arrange and build them such that they complemented each other, even when the cabinet was empty, and so tools were never more than one layer deep, for ease of use. Since the majority of the tool holders are small in size, I made most of them from offcuts from other projects, making this the most elaborate scrap wood project I'll probably ever do. These were also materials I liked working with hand tools and thought were quite complementary: black cherry, quarter-sawn sapele, ebonized black walnut, curly maple, brass, leather, and stained amate bark paper. The double clamshell doors were a challenge in and of themselves, and hung on 3 hinges apiece with full mortise lock. In hopes of keeping any sagging of the doors to a minimum, I reserved the lighter tools for the doors and the heaviest of those closest to the hinge side of each door. By February of 2020, it was finished, and I of course started working out of it right away. As it neared completion, my wife, seeing what I put into it, made me swear I'd make a bigger deal out of it than I had originally planned. I shared much of the build on Instagram and did a big reveal there, and it increased my exposure quite a bit, particularly among fellow woodworkers. About a year later, the tool cabinet, as well as my shop-made dead blow mallet, got featured in Fine Woodworking Magazine's annual Tools and Shops issue in the Reader's Gallery. When I first got into woodworking, I'd read its pages and dreamed about appearing there. Having achieved that was a real treat for me. There are a number of other firsts in this design too. It was the first time I had ever hand-cut mitered corner dovetails, done parquetry, custom shaped and filed brass plate, and probably a few other things I'm forgetting, but in the end it all worked out fine. And that gave me a lot of confidence when tackling new techniques in my other work. It's now been a few years since its completion, and I've worked out of the tool chest anywhere from 4 to 7 days a week for most of that time. It's a working piece of shop furniture, so it's received its fair share of dings, and the cherry is darkened considerably, both of which were expected. For the most part, it's held up really well. While nothing in my tool cabinet takes more than a second to take out or put back in, things do fit a certain way and in close quarters. This was intentional, not only for the design composition, but also as a permanent reminder to myself that these tools weren't come by easily and are deserving of a certain level of care and respect. I'd like to think that this approach has kept both my tools and the cabinet in better shape than they would have been otherwise. I'm often asked how many hours I put into building this thing, and I don't know the answer to that. I purposely didn't keep track. For one, I didn't want to know how much income I was missing out on working on this instead of commissions. I didn't want to end up resenting it for that reason. Also, for something that's as much an artistic expression as a functional object, it isn't about the work put into it anyways. It just isn't. It can't be. It's about the thing being made. In fact, "it'll take as long as it takes" has become my official mode of operations, and I stopped keeping track of my hours on all projects after that. Perhaps that wasn't the best business decision, but it certainly keeps my focus where I'm now adamant that it should be. My focus will always and forever be on doing my best work in pursuit of something beautiful. That's it. And that's that.